Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, the Too Opinionated podcast could really use your help. And it's easy, it's free. IMDb, which is the entertainment database, imdb.com, named us a top 100 podcast. We came in at number 82. That's a big deal because there's 15 million podcasts and growing. So to be named to anybody's top 100 list, pretty big deal for us. And the way you can help is to go to imdb.com, look up the Too Opinionated podcast, and that's it. Just bringing our page up. That traffic really helps us out. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. All we ask is that you subscribe. It's also free, but that really helps us to attract these amazing guests that we keep bringing on the program. And that's it. 2 easy ways for you to support us, and we would really appreciate the help. Now let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I'm so excited today. I've got one of my favorite actresses, Angelique Cabral, with me. So welcome, Angelique.
Hello. Hi. Nice to meet you and be here to chat with you. Looking forward to it.
I know. I'm so excited. I'll tell you why I reached out to speak with you, because I always loved you as an actress. I just rewatched Life in Pieces.
I've
been doing that. I was going through the like at night. I like to end the day with something that's easy and kind of funny. So you go to bed in a good mood.
In a good mood. That's right. That's exactly right.
I was working through the sitcoms, and then Life in Pieces. I was like, boy, I love that show. Such a good show.
It ended too soon. R.I.P.
Yeah, tell me about that, because I'm jumping. I plan to talk about that later, but tell me about that. Why didn't it come back for another season? It probably needed one.
It definitely needed one. That now in retrospect, I think that show could have gone for another 4 or 5 years.
Oh, easy.
It was incredibly rich. The characters were so well fleshed out. Our on-camera chemistry was incredible.
Yeah.
This was at a time before COVID, before the strike, and it basically just comes down to the business side of things, and
nobody likes that side.
Nobody likes that. And we were at a point with our show that we were about to kind of get into renegotiations of contracts, and
you were getting too expensive. Is that what you're telling me?
It was an expensive show. And then also we were not owned. It was CBS, on CBS, but owned by 20th Century Fox. Yeah. And historically, they don't get along, and it's difficult to do business, I believe, together, from what I understand. And so I think it was a situation that we were actually led to believe that it was getting picked up for a 5th season, and we were all kind of celebrating.
Well, I was going to ask you, because that last episode, it kind of leaves it open.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming that when that ended, you didn't know for sure it wasn't coming back. Is that why they kind of? Yeah.
Well, we were actually
kind of left open.
Yeah, I mean, Matt was going away, and we had this kid, and it was really disappointing to not. I mean, that was the hardest part, I think, for all of us. And when you're on a show for that many years, you are one with your character. And I think the hardest part is to not be able to say goodbye and finish the story. And you're left kind of always open-ended. And it was really sad. We were really sad. We still are.
But it's such a great, I mean, it was well casted.
Yeah.
It was well written, but if you didn't have that cast, I don't know that it would have worked as well.
I would agree, but the writing was amazing. But like Jim Brolin and Diane Wiest on TV together, what are you talking about? How does it get better than that?
It doesn't.
Hey, come to set, I'd be pinching myself. Like, how is this my life? Like hanging out with Diane Wiest. Like, it was an incredible, incredible time.
And I probably would watch the two of them just sitting and having a conversation.
You would love behind the scenes was the best. The banter, she would always just pick at him, and he's basically his character. So he's quite a character. So that, yeah.
You were our favorite character on there.
Oh, thanks. Colleen is so cute and funny and quirky and a
She's
little
so
dumb.
quirky.
Yeah, so quirky.
You were telling me off camera that you did some school teaching, before you
Yeah.
got full into the acting. And I don't know, but that kind of makes it even better. Yeah.
Listen, I mean, listen, Colleen has a bag of tricks, right? Like she's just all over the place. And what's so funny is that like that's how this character developed. Like that's not how she was written necessarily, but the writers season one get to know you as a person,
Right.
and you come to set and you're quirky and you talk, and that's just how I am. And I have a bunch of stories and I can talk about anything. I'm real optimistic. I'm really frugal. So like when she was like trying to return the shrimp and the whole thing, like that's like kind of based on my life. Like I return everything, and I came into the writer's room and like told them some funny stories, and that just kind of spurns the character. And then as you get more and more enveloped in the show, it just becomes more and more you. And I think that's the best writing, is when they can marry the two. And it was seamless. And for me, I was like, I've never played a character that I love more than Colleen. She was hysterical to me. I'm obsessed with her.
Well, yeah. How could you? It'd have to be easier playing a character that was close to yourself. So you're playing a role, so it's a little different, but
Yeah.
there's enough there that similar to how you are in real life. That has to be kind of comfortable.
I mean, it is comfortable. It's super fun.
Yeah.
And especially on a comedy, right? Like I
Yeah.
think comedies in general bring out who you are because of the way that you just deliver your lines. It's like it's got to make sense to you, and it's all about timing. Now listen, when I've done dramas before, I just did Big Sky like a year ago or so,
Yeah.
like a year and a half ago. That's like a very different thing. And of course, as an actor, you always bring a part of yourself, and you bring your humanity, and you bring your I would say opinions. But there's good, I find with dramas particularly, like you can't bring as much of yourself to it. I think that it's really colorful on comedies
Right.
to bring your like special, I call it like a
It
special.
brings your personality out in comedy.
Yeah, yeah. I think there's more opportunity for that. Yeah.
Comedy's not easy because it's
No
kind of like
comedy.
music. It's
Oh,
like there's a rhythm.
yeah, comedy is the hardest. Are you
Yeah.
kidding? Yeah, I think I mean, listen, I'll go to fight anyone about this, but I think anyone can do drama. And I think that it takes a really strong actor to do comedy well.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of actors, you might love them in action or drama, any of those other genres, but you put them in comedy, they struggle a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard. It's like you said, it's music. There's
Yeah.
a rhythm to it. There's a pace to it, and you can't like falter with that.
It's been a few years since Life in Pieces was out. Do you have is there like a cast chat?
Mm,
Did you have that at least when it was going
we
on?
had that. Yeah, yeah. We had a cast text always during shooting. Now it's like I would say we're all still in touch
Yeah.
here and there. Like there were some cast members that were closer. Like I'm still in like constant communication with Zoe and Colin and Holly.
Yeah. Well,
But if I
you
reached
worked
out,
with Zoe in a couple other projects.
yeah,
Right?
I've
Yeah.
worked with her on a couple of other things. I just worked with her this past week. We did a 24-hour plays, which was super fun.
Pretty awesome.
Here in
She's
LA.
so talented.
It was so fun. But yeah, I would say like, listen, I could reach out to any cast member at any time and it would be fine. Like, we're all, over the years, you just kind of find Tommy, of course, my co-star, I could call him anytime. He's like still one of my best friends. And,
Well, you
yeah,
could tell the cast got along because, as fans, if the chemistry's off, we're going to recognize it. That's usually the shows that don't make it very long.
sure. Of course.
It's especially when it's a new comedy because it's so difficult to kind of grab people quickly or
Yep.
else the show doesn't make it. They don't give it enough time. And
Yeah.
Life in Pieces, I think like right from the beginning, you connect with the cast.
Yeah, I agree. I've been on other shows where the chemistry was not as strong, and you can
Yeah.
really just see the difference. Yeah, for sure. It's
It-
palpable. Audience can.
Yeah, you really can tell. I
Yeah.
always loved Colleen because she always had that kind of like she had some stuff in her background that
Yeah.
every once in a while she just kind of casually mentioned and stuff, and you're like, wonder what was up, wonder what's up with.
Yeah, she used to be fat, like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, she had a lot going on. when she
Not going
was,
on. My
but
family.
before she came into the family.
Yeah, that's right. And like they would pepper it in, right?
Yeah, I love that. It was just like every once in a while she just kind of make a casual remark, but it was like there was
But
some stuff going on.
it's like a bomb. You're like, wait, what?
Yeah, what? Well, it's not like Matt would always say that on. You'd be like, what? What?
It's so true. I love that so much.
Okay, so I jumped ahead. So let me back up.
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about what got you into acting, because if you're
Oh,
school teaching, but I'm assuming maybe you did acting growing up. But how did
yeah,
the journey
exactly.
progress?
I was like, listen, I've been acting my whole life. I was a theater nerd. I didn't play sports. I sang and took dance class, you know. Um, I actually, in my school, I was raised in Carmel, California, and at my little school, there was a substitute teacher who was there doing like music, and she was like, "Oh, you, Angelique." She told my mom. Well, back then I was Angel all through grade
Oh,
school.
yeah,
Angel.
yeah.
Angel has a really good voice. She should audition for this production
Does
of all.
anybody still call you Angel?
Yes,
Okay,
some of my family members.
that would be my guess. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And then I went to college as Angel. I was not Angelique until I moved to Los Angeles in 2010. And my agents were like, that's a porn star name. You cannot be Angel. Like, we're not doing that. Your name is beautiful, Angelique Cabral. Like, you should have your whole name. And I thought, oh my God, that's like, so that's not me, Angelique. Like, it felt very like fake for a while.
I don't know. It sounds kind of Hollywood to me.
Yeah, now I'm Angelique or Ange, or some people say Angelique. Like, I'm not precious about it, but it is Angelique. Just to
Well,
add,
Angelique, yeah,
yeah,
I think it always sounds like my terrible accent. It always sounds better when you say your own name.
right. That's correct. But anyway, I was a theater nerd, and this lady was like, she should audition for Oliver Twist. I'm doing this production at a local college. And I did. I auditioned, I got in, and I was like, oh, musical theater. I was in third grade, and I was a little part. I had like 3 or 4 little parts. I was like a boy, and I was like a little boy in the Oliver's orphanage, and
Oh
I
yeah.
played another part. Like, I did a couple of different parts, and that was it. Like, I was
You're
hooked. I was
hooked. Yeah.
obsessed. I had done a couple of like dance recitals, but not with singing and not with like the acting, and I was obsessed. And then I basically did musical theater all through lower school and all through high school. And it was what I wanted to study. And when I graduated from high school, I got a full scholarship to Indiana University, actually an academic scholarship.
Oh,
It was called the Wells Scholarship. So it was free to go to Indiana. I went to Indiana University in Bloomington, Indiana.
oh, that's on
Yeah.
my end of the country.
Yes, yeah. And I was happy to go wherever it was free. I got into a lot of big schools, Northwestern, Yale, Stanford, um, a bunch of schools. I said Northwestern.
Well,
Anyway,
that's
a bunch
what
of,
you do when you're going into college. You go with the free one.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah.
And thank God I did, because I graduated with like no debt, and it was wonderful. But in school, I was like, I'm going to be a Broadway star. Okay. Because Indiana has an incredible music program. They have a great music department, like one of the best in the country. And I wasn't a music major. I was a musical theater major specifically. And I
Hey,
did a thesis project, and wrote my own show with my best friend, Ben, who's still one of my best friends, and um,
love that.
performed, and it was incredible. It was probably one of the best experiences of my life. And I was like, this is what I'm going to do. So I moved to New York to be on Broadway. And
Of
I
course.
moved to New York right
It's
before.
that easy.
It was that easy. I thought, that's it. And there was a bunch of us that moved. There was like maybe 10 of us from IU that were all
Oh,
musical theater,
yeah.
maybe more even. It might have been like 12 of us, but we moved, and I moved about like 2 days before 9/11.
Oh,
So it was a I didn't obviously know what was coming, but I had already secured a part-time teaching position
yeah.
from one of my old teachers who opened a preschool. and she was like, get your teaching certificate, which I did. And she was like, you can come and be the assistant at this Montessori preschool teacher while you are auditioning.
You're pursuing, yeah.
Yeah, like your little side hustle. And it worked great because it was only in the morning. It was like 7:30 to like noon. I worked a half a day.
Oh, yeah, it's perfect.
And the interesting thing though is that because of my timing of my move, Broadway and everything kind of shut down for a couple of years. I mean, it didn't shut down completely, but everything was like upended because of 9/11 in New York City for a couple of years. It was a wild time. And I was so grateful to have that security of the Montessori school and like
Yeah, of course.
almost like a home base. And I really got attached to that little school and those kids and the teachers. And they're still dear friends of mine. And I'm still very close to a lot of the students that I taught or the families.
Any of them acting? Because it's been 20
No, but one of them wants to be a producer / writer.
Okay.
And I don't think anyone else is acting. I think they're all like more business oriented.
Yeah.
But I ended up nannying for a lot of those families. I would like teach their kids in the morning and then like go home and like nanny with them. And I nannied for many years in New York as I was auditioning and pounding the pavement, as they say. I would go to acting class at night. I'm always in acting class, always, to work on my craft. And I would go to acting class and I would nanny and I would cater and I would like do all these side things just to stay busy. I'm best when I'm busy. I still am. I always have been like that. And I can juggle a lot. Like I've always been able to manage and handle a lot.
Like you can actually like Colleen. Sometimes she thought she could juggle a lot. She could not.
She could not. Colleen could do like one thing well.
That's right.
Kind of. Barely. No, I can do, I am a good juggler of many things, and my youth proved that. And it's something that stuck with me all the way now into motherhood. And now being a working actor with 2 children and a room parent and a full-time, I do this thing called Party Book at my school. Like I'm involved in all of the committees. I'm an active member of the school community. So, it's something that I learned and I continue to do, and it brings me joy to be able to do a lot of things. Yeah.
I think acting, people don't realize how difficult it is to get started as an actor for most people. Most people, because like you said, you were doing 3 or 4 other things just so you could pursue the one that you really loved.
Yeah. And listen, even then, like I fell into TV. Like that was like not back then. Like we were all theater dorks, right? Like we were nerds. We were obsessed with theater and Broadway, and TV then had a different stigma. Now it's like all the big stars do.
Yeah, TV. Yeah, it's okay now. It used to be you were either movies, TV.
That's
Broadway.
right. That's right.
You stayed in your lane.
Yeah, and you stayed in your lane, and you were kind of like, TV is like fucking like not real actors. And then basically like when I kind of like was over the business. I was like, I didn't ever, by the way, I never made it to Broadway, just to be very clear. I never like made it. I got close on a couple things. I did some workshops.
Not too late.
Not too late. That is, mark my words, I will be on Broadway.
You got to sing and wish. So
I got to sing and wish, and I'm getting closer and closer, and it's definitely a pipe dream for me. But I moved to LA with my then boyfriend, who's now my husband, and we moved for his business, not for me.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, fine, we'll try this, and I'll like get an agent and I'll try to do theater. But I was kind of burnt. Like I kind of had a little bit of an attitude about, like I had a little chip on my shoulder, to be honest. And I was kind of upset at the business and like, why not me kind of situation. Yeah. And I had to change I was humbled very quickly, and I had to change my own mental story that I was telling myself. And I did a lot of self-work.
You think that's what ends a lot of people's attempt at being an actor? They run into the rejection, which is most of it, and they just can't really recover from it.
I think that's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I think that rejection and not having honestly like the tough skin to be able to say, okay, you don't want me, but maybe they will, and to keep going and to keep going. When I taught, I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but when I got to LA, I immediately had to find a class because I had to be in acting class. And I found this amazing place called Leslie Kahn Studios. And Leslie is still one of my best friends. She changed my life. She changed my career. I can never say enough about it. And within a year, I was on a show, and I didn't even want to be necessarily, but
That
part
it
of,
was that a soap or was it something else?
no, no, no. Again, I was like, this is TV, whatever. But I went on a couple of auditions, and I heard talking about how to get it, how I got into the business in
Yeah.
TV. It was hard. And like, I saw quickly that, okay, I went in for some generals. I went in for some big shows, like happy endings, like series regular, but I had no credits. Okay. Like I had nothing except for some Broadway
Well,
workshops.
tough
And
to get
yeah, I
as
had done
as a
some soaps.
newer
Yeah,
actress.
I had done some soaps in New York.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought though that that was like enough. And I was like, yeah, I'm amazing. I've been acting my whole life. I had this kind of vibe of me that like I went in and had no shits to give. And I was like, I don't care.
I'm here.
I'm here. Kind of. That's kind of how I approached it. Maybe ignorance is bliss, right? And I quickly got I would say attention. Like people, the casting were like, she's really funny, but she needs to learn how to land a joke. She's good, but she needs to
Right.
be more specific. And I hear a note, if I get criticism, that's it. I'm like, fuck y'all. I'm gonna like learn how to do this, and I'm gonna be the best at it. So I found the best
At least
acting.
you put it to good use.
Yeah, but I'm like competitive, right? So
Right.
like I'm like I want to be the best. And at Leslie Kahn, I kind of came to this school and I learned how to act for television. I had never really done that. And I learned how to like land a joke, and I learned that you go from like a co-star, which is like one line or two lines,
Right.
to a guest star, which is like a story arc where you're like throughout the episode, but you're only one episode. Maybe you could be recurring. Then you get to be a series regular. And I saw friends around me who were like testing and booking shows. And I was like, I can do that.
Yeah.
They can do that. I can do that. And there's that competitive edge. And within a year, I had booked this show called, back then it was, well, it was called Devious Maids, was my first pilot
Oh
that I
yeah.
booked. And it was a show by Mark
But
Cherry.
I was gonna say it was the Desperate Housewives guy. Yeah.
Yep. It was like his next big show. And I had no credits, like zero. Like I had no reason to have booked this, but he saw me in a play that I had done like this workshop. And he was like, I
Right.
think I have a part for you. I want to bring you in. And the part he brought me in for wasn't the right part. And on our test night, he gave me new sides, 12 pages. I'll never forget it. It's like 10 o'clock at night. And I was testing for this show. And he was like, I think you can do this. Let's try it. And I did it because I'm a theater person. I can turn sides. Like I have no
Right.
problem memorizing. And I did it in my sleep. And I ended up booking this part. And I was floored. I was opposite Rosalind Sanchez. It was amazing.
Not terrible.
And Ana Ortiz and I mean, the whole cast was incredible. The show did not go at ABC. It was an ABC pilot. It went at Lifetime.
Yeah,
So
I
when
thought it moved because I
yeah,
remember that. I thought it switched networks.
yeah, ABC didn't pick it up and they sold it at Lifetime. And when that happens, which happens sometimes,
Yeah.
when a network takes over a show, they retool it, they call it. So they like got rid of some characters, they simplified the story. And one of the characters they got rid of was my character.
Come on.
I know, it was such a bummer. But then I came off that feeling very confident.
Yeah.
I was, of course, devastated. I'll never forget. That was maybe one of the pivotal moments in my career, just knowing that something is nothing until it's actually airing.
Yeah.
If that makes
Yeah.
sense.
It
And
does.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, and that a pilot means really nothing, especially anymore. But like they don't even barely make pilots now. But um, I kind of came off of that pretty low, but also stoked that I had booked the series regular. And then I got the show called Enlisted
I
within,
loved Enlisted. That was
I
another one I
know
thought ended too soon.
it did. It was only one season, which
Yeah.
is
I was thinking
psychotic.
it was two, but yeah, it was so
No,
quick. And it was a good
so
cast.
good. It was a great cast. We're talk about a text chain. Me, Parker Young, Chris Lowell, Jeff Stoltz, Mike Royce, and Kevin Beagle. The six of us are on this text chain.
Yeah.
It's my favorite text chain of my lifetime. I love it so much. All we do is like give each other shit. And I love those boys. Like they're my actual brothers. And the whole joke was that like they were the brothers and I was like this annoying gnat that like wanted to always hang out with them. And like that's kind of how it was.
Do you think that one would have made it if it was made today where you've got all these streamers that you
Yes.
might be able to go
Oh,
to?
for sure.
I think it would too. It was well done. It just didn't give enough of a chance to get an audience.
Yeah, and we were given a really bad time slot. We were like 9:30 on Friday, and
Nobody's
Fox,
watching TV on Friday. We know
no,
that.
and Fox had another show the same year that premiered
Oh,
right with us called Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
oh,
And
okay.
for whatever reason, they gave that show a really good time slot, and they gave that show more attention and more publicity and more money. And
Seems like
so
you could have put those two together. Thrown
we
them
thought
back to
so.
back.
Yeah, it could have been 8 and 8:30 or something.
Yeah,
It should have been. They were actually they could have been compatible.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how, back in the day, like Thursday night on NBC, that'd be the night everybody'd watch. From 8 to 10, you'd have comedy and
That's
stuff.
right.
It used to be a thing when you kind of block those up.
Remember TGIF? That was I wasn't at like
That
7
was
to
the last time people watched on Fridays.
yeah, exactly. TGIF was that was like the Full House, all of that. Yeah. Not no mo, not no mo.
No.
Um, yeah, so that was kind of I kind of fell into TV and like I think what had happened is I was at a record low and I was kind of like this has to work. Like I have
Right.
no option and I don't really want to do TV. I want to do theater, but like this is and then I was like shocked at how much it paid and I was like, "Oh,
Maybe I do
okay.
want to do TV.
Great." And then I was like, "Oh, and I can sometimes be done by like 10 a.m. and this is my job to go to set
Well, I
and
was going
work."
to say you settled into it because you bounced around, like made guest appearances on a whole lot of shows.
Yeah. So as soon as Enlisted got over or got canceled, I should say, got over. No, as soon as Enlisted was canceled, it canceled, I believe, in 2014, sadly,
Yeah.
or 2014.
Somewhere in there. Yeah.
I said to my team, I was like, listen, I want to do every guest star. I want to be on every kind of show because I wanted to be able to do it all, not just comedy. And I think I did like 20 guest stars in a year or something
A
insane.
lot.
It
Yeah, I was
was like
looking at your IMDb. I was like,
everything.
holy crap.
I did the show called Backstrom. I did NCIS. I did CSI. I did Free Agents. I did
Well, you did The Odd Couple.
The Odd
Matthew
Couple.
Perry. Yeah.
That's right. I did. That was fun. I got to work with Matthew Perry. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
I did 2.5 Men. I did
Oh,
really
I forgot 2.5 Men. I meant to bring that one up too because that's one of my dad's favorite shows, and he recognized you from that because he still watches all the reruns.
Yeah,
and he never tells me, like if I ask him, he's like, I don't know, but he knew you.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah, that was one of my first multicams. And I loved it. That was like going to college really for TV. I got to do so many different shows, so many different sets, work with so many different people.
Yeah.
And the next thing that happened was Life in Pieces. So then I think I did a pilot that didn't go in between, maybe 2. I did a couple of pilots that didn't go, and then I booked Life in Pieces, and that kind of changed everything.
Well, and then so was it after that you had like Grace and Frankie, those type of shows?
So during my so when you're on a show like Life in Pieces, which is rare anymore, but we had 22 episodes a season.
I know, I miss those days. Now you're lucky to get 8.
The best for everyone. It's the best for the crew, the writers, the actors. You have a very limited amount of time that you can do other shows. Right. So like sometimes people go do a movie on hiatus, or sometimes they don't want to do anything. You just want to rest and be with your family. And I did Grace and Frankie during 2 different hiatuses. I think I did 3 episodes total, and I came in whenever when I was available, and it was a really fun show to be a part of. One of my good friends is June Diane Raphael, who was on that, obviously. And a lot of my directors from Life in Pieces would direct, and that was super fun. I get to like work with my directors again.
We love June. She's terrific in everything she does.
Yeah. She's the best. I play tennis. I just played tennis with her this morning. We play tennis together a lot. We play a lot of tennis these days.
Who's better?
She is, for sure. Like, she's been playing longer. I've been playing for the last like 2 years, but June, I've learned a lot from her. She's really good at the net, and I'm getting more aggressive.
Yeah, you have quick reflexes at the net.
Yeah, really, yeah. I've learned a lot from her.
But you're playing tennis. It's not pickleball. It's tennis.
No, I mean, I can play pickleball and I play in like tournaments, but I don't play like regularly. I really stick to tennis because I'm so obsessed.
I always had trouble. I was a racquetball player, through
Oh,
college and everything. And I was like, well, I can play racquetball, I can play tennis. It does not translate.
it does not.
Like you really have, because tennis is all about touch.
Yeah,
Racquetball, you just kind of hit it.
that's right.
You got to actually aim a little bit. And
That's right.
the tennis is a little more. I was surprised that I was as bad at tennis as I was. But then I thought, well, maybe pickleball. I haven't tried it yet, though.
Oh, if I feel like if you're good at racquetball, you could be good at pickleball.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. But I
Kind of
thought
in
that with
between.
tennis didn't work out.
Yeah. When I was playing a lot of pickleball last summer, it helped me at the net. It helped me get more aggressive volleying.
Yeah.
So I do think there's some merit to it. It's very hard. I mean, it's a fast-paced game.
Yeah,
Sure.
it kind of is. Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah.
I've always enjoyed watching it, which is why I tried to play it. It just, yeah.
Right.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Keep me posted. Keep me posted.
Okay. See, I'd like to say I'm competitive and I'll get out there and learn to play, but I'm not. I used to be, but now I'm like, whatever.
And now you're like, it's fine. It's good.
It's fine. You know what? I'll tell you what, the day that I stopped being competitive, because I've always been a runner. And I was, when I was younger, I was pretty fast, ran track and stuff. My daughter, when she turned 13, 14 years old, she started running track. And I was like, well, let's see how fast you are. We'll race. And she smoked me. It wasn't even close. And I was like, I must have slipped. Like, there's no way. And I was like, there's no way. So I was like, let's try again. And she beat me worse the second time. And I was like, I'm done.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. I can't wait for the day that I'm sure my children will smoke me soon.
It's one of those that you're a little disappointed that you're no longer as fast as you thought you were, or as good as you, but it's hard not to be proud when it's your kid.
Yeah, for sure. I can imagine. Yes.
It's like, you got a Frasier episode this season.
Yep. I just did a cute little part on Frasier this season, which is season 2 of Frasier. And
I think it's the second episode. I just watched the first episode yesterday. So
okay. I think
it's out. I just haven't watched it.
Yeah, I believe it's, but I haven't seen it yet. I tend to not watch. I mean, I haven't even finished Big Sky from last year.
How would you like to do a character on a show and basically be doing that character for like 40 years?
I mean, would I like that? That would be my dream come true.
Right?
It would be my dream.
I mean, Kelsey Grammer, he's been Frasier forever.
He's been Frasier forever. He's an incredibly generous director and co-star. He was a lovely man. I can't say enough about him. The whole experience was great. And I did the show because my good friend Joe Cristalli, who runs the show and is like one of the I guess he's the showrunner and writer.
Yeah.
He wrote for me on Life in Pieces and on my short-lived comedy called Maggie that was on Hulu.
We loved Maggie too.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was great.
That was just one season, I think, right?
That was also
like a 13 episode one, if I remember right.
So I'm due for another long hit, which is coming up. I feel it coming. But anyway, he knew me really well. He actually had me in for one of the series regulars when they were casting Frasier, and I just wasn't right for the part. Obviously, that happens all the time, but it's always such a compliment when anyone I've worked with before, which happens to me all the time. Like people that have worked with me want to work with me again. I'm constantly cast.
No, I love that.
Yeah, I mean, the people that did Maggie, that was Life in Pieces, Justin Adler, that was his show.
Right.
And he's my neighbor and still one of my best friends. So it's something I pride myself on, is the rehire. And when people ask me to come back and do a guest star on their show, because if I didn't get the main part or whatever, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm so gracious and so happy to work. I just want to work. I just always want to work.
Well, yeah. And why wouldn't you be? It's all about the connections you make.
That's right. That's right.
That's why you see the same people working with the same directors and writers and stuff.
Yeah. You kind of find your niche and you kind of find your people. And, there's a lot of people with like big egos out there. And so I don't have an ego at all. I'll do anything. I'll I never mind getting notes or anything. I just love to play and be working. So
Other than being like ultra competitive.
other than being ultra competitive, but the competition is like myself. Like I'm always like, I can be better. I can do this better. Why am I not doing this? I can be better. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
And if I see, it's a competitive business, obviously, but anymore, especially with social media, you can't really like play the comparison game because I'm kind of at the level with my peers that we're all kind of in the mix together. We're all getting shows and then not getting shows. And then
Right.
you're here and then you book this movie and then you do this thing. And I have nothing but love for the people that I'm always up against. And it's like a lot of the same people. And
I was gonna say you see them all the time.
yeah, we're like like we're all sisters. Like we're just like kind of in it together. And we're like, yes, girl, you got this. Yes. Like, and now it'll be my turn. Like, if anything, I'm glad when people get jobs because then there's like more room for the next
Well,
job.
that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's a good way to look at it. I think I would be that way. You'd be supportive, like happy for someone else, not
Yeah, you
upset
have
that
to
someone
be.
else got it.
Yeah, otherwise it eats away at you and you become
Right.
really negative
Get bitter.
and bitter. Yeah. And I don't have time for that. So I just always believe that the universe has my back and something is coming. And when the timing's right, it'll be right.
I had Dee Dee Pfeiffer was on the podcast, which is the reason that I watched Big Sky, because I talked to her and I was like, okay, she's like, I'm in this show. She's like, it was, her Michelle's married to David. So
Right.
she's like, it was family. She's like, I really wasn't wanting to act, but it's family. So you do it. And she said, but then she said, then I got in there. I loved it.
Yeah, it
So
was
check
great.
it
I
out.
worked with her. Yeah, she was great.
Yeah. So we enjoyed you on that. And if I remember right, didn't you work with him on the Disney show he was doing? It was like
Oh, Big Shot?
Big Shot.
Was it Big Shots?
Big Shots. I'm not sure. But that was David E. Kelly, wasn't it?
That was David E. Kelly. And
Yeah.
I went from, I forgot about that. See, I do work a lot. I always forget.
I know.
I went from the kind of, yeah, that's kind of where they found me was on that show. And that was right after, I think Life in Peace. No, that was right after Maggie. That was right after Maggie.
It was
And
all in that same area there.
yeah,
That
and I
was
did.
kind of my question was that, did one lead to the other role?
I think so. I mean, listen, 20th casts both. They do both shows. So I get cast by 20th a lot. Like those are my girls over there. So
Yeah.
they put me, I didn't audition for those. Those were like, they call it an offer. So I got an offer to do Big Shot. And then
I mean, that's the best ones, right?
yeah. Oh yeah. And then I got an offer for Big Sky. And that Big Sky really, I'm so grateful for that show because I did not know that the strike was coming.
Right.
And I ended up getting to do 13 episodes and it was a huge win for me to come right out of COVID. I was basically on hold on a show during COVID.
Yeah.
Never got picked up. It was called Work Wife. And I was opposite Tone Bell. And it was a single cam comedy with it was Kelly Ripa's and Ryan Seacrest's show about their working relationship. And
that was pretty good, actually.
Yeah, it was great. It was a great show. It was a great cast. And they ended up not picking it up. And I went right into Maggie. They put me on Maggie. And then I went right into Big Shot and then Big Sky. And it kind of all like bled into each other, but it was the same casting people. So they put
that's kind of nice. Especially during that time, because it was the last few years been a little rough acting wise.
Yeah, I mean, luckily, knock wood, it hasn't been that rough for me, except that I'm not on a normal TV show that I'm used to. But like I have continued to work and I've been really, really blessed with that. And I had Wish come out this year, the Disney animated film, which completely changed my life and has been incredible. And
well, I told you I'm a pawpaw, so I have seen Wish many.
Oh, good. Did you like it?
I love it. It's terrific.
Oh, good.
I mean, that's the nice thing with Disney is you can enjoy it at any age.
That's right.
You might love it as a kid, but you can enjoy Disney at any age.
Yeah, you can enjoy Disney at any age. And I think that the writing is always so good that like adults can enjoy it at a different level, right? There's some
because there's always a few little, jokes and stuff that are above kids' heads. So they do a good job making something that appeals to everybody.
They do. Disney's, I mean, this was 100 years of Disney animation. It was a big movie. I was so honored. I'm looking at my Queen Amaya right now. Can you see
Oh,
that?
there she is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's, on my desk to remind me that I was a queen once.
you're a queen.
As I'm going to pick up for my
All
kids.
these people out there saying they're a Disney princess.
There's
You're
very
one
few.
step up.
That's right. I will always have that. So anyway, definitely it's a different vibe for sure right now in LA. There's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of production. But hopefully I keep hearing things are picking up. Things are gonna come
I
back.
went out there during the strike. I've got a group of actor friends in LA, and I went out there. I was like, I'm going to support them. I'll go out there and walk the line with them. So the day I chose to go, it was like 110 degrees.
Yeah.
And I was just like, maybe I could catch up with you after. I'm not, I want to be supportive, but
we all got
that way.
So skinny. We were all so skinny and tan during the strike because all we did was walk, and like it was actually super fun. Like it's weird to say that it was fun, but there was a sense of camaraderie and oneness, and we were very goal oriented, and you would run into people you hadn't seen in years. It was like this reunion every day. You never knew who you were going to run into. And from people I worked with 10 years ago, like just hanging out, walking some loops, and we'd get our steps, and then we go have lunch and grab a drink. It was a weird time, but I also think that I think that there was a sense of hopefulness.
Yeah.
That once that strike ended did not quite come to fruition. Like I think that we thought it would kind of bounce back to normal, and it still hasn't.
Been kind of slow. Yeah, it's been kind of. Yeah. So I got a buddy that was on West Wing, and that's what he said. He said I was out there walking, and it's like the entire cast of West Wing is out there.
Yeah.
So we ended up having like a little mini reunion out there.
Yeah, I'm good friends with Bradley Whitford, and I was there that day. And when they were all there, they did like a big speech, like, we're not going to give up. It felt very empowering, and everyone was like,
Well, I would have liked to have been supportive, but I did it from, my hotel room. I did meet up with them later for drinks.
Okay. Well, that's nice that you showed your support.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know I felt kind of bad, but I was like, it's 110 and they're on asphalt.
Right.
Yeah. That sounded miserable.
Yeah, it was rough.
I loved Big Sky because it felt like a throwback, because it like every episode ended on a cliffhanger. So it kind of felt like those shows you'd watch back in the 70s and 80s where it would kind of end that way. It'd end on a big moment, so it would make sure you came back for the next week.
Very much. It was always a cliffhanger.
Always a cliffhanger.
Happening sometimes, to be honest.
That's right.
With you. That's how this is ending? No idea. Especially if you were reading at the last scene, you would have no idea how that episode ended. Because we didn't have like table reads. It was still COVID. So it's like you would get your script, and then generally.
I guess that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that was a really fun experience. That was actually my first time shooting out of state. I have always.
Oh, really?
Fun fact, I've always shot in Los Angeles, except for Backstrom, and then this one pilot that I did in Dallas or something years ago. But that was my first kind of experience of like every week getting on the plane and going and shooting and coming back. And
you didn't just stay there?
No, because I was sporadic. So they would shoot my scenes and then I would leave. It wasn't like I wasn't like throughout the whole episode every time. I'd have like 2 scenes or 3 scenes in an episode.
Where was it filming at? Was it in?
It was in Albuquerque. We shot in Albuquerque.
Oh, it was in Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Because wasn't it supposed to take place? It's like Montana or somewhere.
Yeah. A lot of things that are supposed to take place in Montana shoot in Albuquerque because it has similar landscape.
I know, it's so strange to me. I'm sure it's money related, but I didn't realize that a lot of movies you see with New York in it is Vancouver.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't realize that until I started doing this podcast. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, New York's right there, but okay.
Little trade secret. Let's not tell everyone now.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm giving the secrets away. Have you ever done a Christmas movie?
No, but I'm dying to.
Yeah,
That's
you
something
should do one of those. They probably let you sing.
I would love to do a Christmas movie. I would love to do a Christmas movie. I would love to do a Hallmark movie. I think I've been up for a couple of Hallmark projects. I mean, I love Christmas. I'm like a number one fan of Christmas, but no,
Yeah.
I have
I
nothing.
think Colleen in a Christmas movie would be
Colleen,
hysterical.
Colleen in a Christmas movie would be a hot mess. And I
Oh,
don't that anyone's ready to see that, but that would be
you don't think she like I see her like she leaves the town like, but it's a whole thing. Like she's just like, I'm out of here. I'm never coming back. I hate this place.
right.
I'm gone. Makes a whole big thing. And then of course she fails at whatever she's at and she has to come back to the town, in disgrace.
Yeah. Tail between her legs.
Yeah,
That's
but
right.
then at the end of it, it all works out.
Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna pitch it. That's a good idea.
All I ask is just a little special thanks in the
That's right.
in the
Special
in the credits that nobody watches.
For sure.
There's that Mike guy from that podcast.
Yeah. Oh, you know what is funny? Actually, I did book a movie. I did book a Christmas movie. They did a remake of last year or the year before. It was right during Maggie when I was shooting Maggie.
Oh.
It was called oh my God. A Christmas Story. They did a remake of A Christmas Story.
Yeah,
Remember?
yeah. I watched it. You were up for that?
I booked the female lead in that. And then I couldn't do it because they wouldn't let me out. There was like 2 days of overlapping finishing. It was like the crazy COVID times when we were being tested every day and travel was impossible. And this shot in Bulgaria. And the Christmas Story dates needed me to be in Bulgaria to quarantine and test.
They shot in Bulgaria?
Yeah. And they needed me there to like do all the COVID stuff 2 weeks or something before.
And you were already booked?
And I was still shooting. And
oh,
so
that's terrible though. You'd have been great in that role.
I know we tried so hard for weeks to make that work. And
that's my favorite Christmas movie. The first one, the original.
Yeah, no, it was great. And I had a great it was a bummer. But then I ended up and then instead Wish and it was fine.
Yeah,
like it always works out.
What's your Christmas movie? But
I remember being like, wait, I did book a Christmas movie, and then I was like, yeah, a Christmas,
like a big Christmas movie,
big one, yeah.
But do you have a favorite one? What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Probably White Christmas.
Oh, that's a good one, Bing Crosby.
Yeah. Or I mean, old timey, right? And then we always watch the Snoopy. What is the
Charlie Brown Christmas?
Charlie Brown Christmas. Yeah, like always watch that. And then Home Alone, which is obviously
Home Alone. That's a good one.
Favorite. And we're neighbors with Mac, so Macaulay, so we're friends with him, and it's so wild.
Good.
Yeah.
I've been chasing his wife around. We've just been trying to fit. She's coming on at some point, but we haven't.
Oh, good, Brenda.
Yeah, Brenda.
Her this morning. She's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, tell her I'm still hanging out there. We'll work it out eventually.
I met her actually on Life in Pieces. She was a guest star on Life in Pieces.
I remember.
Yeah, I'll tell her I did the podcast because we're good friends.
Yeah, give me a little plug there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brenda's pretty. She's pretty great and such a good actress, and she's been doing it since she was a kid.
I know she's been around forever. I know. You would never know because she looks so beautiful and young and beautiful. Like she's just stunning.
I don't think she ages.
No.
Well, Angelique, thank you for taking a little bit of time. I've been looking forward to this one for weeks. I was like, I can't wait.
Good. Well, you were wonderful. Thank you so much. You had great questions. I loved chatting with you. You did your homework and I loved it. It was great.
Oh, that's the clip I'm going to show everybody. She said I was great.
Yeah, that was a wonderful conversation. It's, I will say it's like nice when you've been in this business for a while and you're in your kind of routine. It's refreshing to remember what you've done, to be honest. Like I forget half the stuff I've done and like, it's a marathon, I would say, this industry. It's a marathon and you got to keep going and it's a grind and you got to just keep at it.
Well, thank you for saying that because I always love just having the conversation because I'm a fan. So I like talking about all the different shows.
Yeah, it's cute. I know it's great. I think it's really important. And it's like going down memory lane. And I remember it's just so funny because each of those experiences are so special and
Yeah.
so in the moment, like you feel like it's so important and it's whatever. And it's all really just part of a bigger tapestry and a bigger career. And you just hope, as a working actor out here, you just hope to keep working and you just hope that you keep making fans and that people want to watch you on TV.
Well, you've got that part down. We're
Yeah, thank
here.
you.
We're just waiting on you.
Oh, good. Me too. We're getting ready for some fun stuff.
Oh, I meant to ask you, did Barbara ever come by Life in Pieces?
Yes. She
That'd
came
be
to see
kind
it
of cool.
a lot. We had some events with her. Season 1 of Life in Pieces, the ladies, me, Betsy Brandt, Zoe, and I think Holly, and Giselle, we went to their
Oh,
houses in Malibu. And she gave us like a full tour. It was like an all day, it was like 12 hours. It was so unbelievable. I'll never get over it.
I'll say that has to
And
be like one of the highlights, I think.
that was probably one of the highlights of Life in Pieces for sure.
Yeah. How about
Um,
Tom? Did Tom ever come by?
no, he
Come on,
didn't.
Tom.
I know he didn't come.
You
Jay,
know, I always thought Colin was such a good actor, but I hadn't seen him in comedy. He's funny.
oh, he's hysterical.
Yeah,
So funny.
yeah, that's
He had
pretty.
done another short-lived show before that. I forget what it was called, but they like dressed, it was like cops or something, and they dressed like women. Am I imagining that? Did I make that
No,
up?
I think you're right. Yeah,
Short-lived.
come to me.
It was a buddy comedy.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forget who it was with, but it was funny.
yeah. It kind of it reminded me a little bit of his dad's show. They start out Bosom Buddies.
Like Bosom Buddies. Oh, maybe. Am I thinking of Bosom
No, I
Buddies?
don't
No.
think so. I think there was one that
No, he
Colin
did a
did.
funny comedy right before
Yeah,
Life in Pieces, and I cannot
I'll figure
remember.
it out.
Yeah,
I want
you'll
to
figure
mention
it.
that.
You'll get on that. That's not my job. That's your
You know,
job.
I'm very competitive. I'm going to figure it
That's right.
out. So, okay. So, a couple little things before I let you go.
Okay.
Anything else that you're working on that we can keep an eye out for?
I Yes, in fact, I have a Netflix animated show that has
Ooh,
been it's been announced in the trades, but the
okay.
cast has not been announced. So I don't know when you're putting this podcast out, but I will just it's the guy that did BoJack Horseman,
I love
Raphael
BoJack Horseman.
Wakeberg. Yep. And I worked with him for about 5 years on Undone, my Amazon
Yeah, yeah.
show.
Undone. We loved Undone. Yeah.
So this is another example of like last minute, they're like, this part came up. Can you do this? It's a series regular on this new animated show. And I was like, yes, I am very
Yes, I can.
available 100%. So I'm doing that. And
It did have a name.
the show is called Long Story Short. They announced
Okay.
it in Deadline 2 weeks ago,
Yeah, very
but they
good.
haven't announced the cast yet, but that's coming soon. So it's called Long Story
Writing
Short.
it down. Long story short.
And my dear friend Amy Landacker, who was on Transparent when I did Transparent with her, but like I knew her from acting
Another
classes.
great show.
Yeah. And she's married to Bradley. That's how I know Bradley Whitford.
Oh,
She was at my wedding and she wrote a movie about my wedding because some stuff happened during the wedding. She about her experience at my wedding. And she made a movie, a feature, and we shot it this spring. And so that will be coming out in the festival circuit
are
probably.
you the bride in the
I'm
movie?
not the bride. No,
No.
I've aged out of that. I've
Okay.
aged out. That was 11. My wedding was 11 years ago. The woman who plays the bride is much younger, hipper. It's like a different vibe, but I play her ex-husband's new girlfriend who is hysterical and she's an influencer and she's like a yogi and she's like very like
Oh, that'd be
zen.
a fun role.
It's really fun and I haven't seen it yet, but she was going to send me the link of it.
When's that one coming out?
Well, we're hoping to premiere at festivals.
Oh, okay. So you know when the festival route. The
Yeah,
festivals
we
are
do the
fun.
festival route. I don't know yet what, oh, this is not what I wanted. Hold on, I'm trying to find it. Um, where is it? Did she send it to me? I thought she sent it to me.
I mean, how cool though. I'd love to have somebody do anything about anything of my
Anything, I know it's like going to be great, like to talk about that on the circuit will be great. But that is coming out probably in like January, February. And then I have another show coming out called Clean Slate that I was not announced in yet, but I think they're doing an announcement like next year. But that'll be, I think, in April, and that's Laverne Cox's show with George Wallace.
Yeah.
Touring on that, and I play a like love triangle with Laverne and the other actor on
You
the show.
stay so busy.
I stay busy. So I have at least three things coming out, and then I'm pitching 2 shows right now, and I have a podcast that I'm working on also right now.
Whoa.
And
Well, if you need a guest, I guess I could make
yes, of course. We talk. I'll make sure to remember that.
it.
But yeah, no, I have a lot of stuff percolating.
What's your podcast going to be about?
It's going to be called All the Things,
Oh,
and it's about all the things.
I was going to say, yeah, that's pretty wide open.
Yeah. It's like it's me and my good friend Jenna, and we're chatting about not only motherhood, but all the things that come with being a woman and a mother and a parent. And we're going to have
you got to let me know when that's coming out.
Yeah, I will. We are in the process of editing it and pitching it right now.
Well, again, I'm a parent.
Yeah.
We need a pawpaw.
That's right. That's right.
We need a pawpaw perspective on this. I thought when the first grandchild was getting ready to be born, I was convinced I was a granddad. That's what we call my dad, granddad. I was like, I'm a granddad. And then like immediately he's born. I'm like, I don't think granddad fits. I'm a pawpaw.
Right. Oh, I love it. That's a cute name.
They always start with like when they're younger, they say pop pop, which I really loved.
Yeah, that's what my kids call my husband's dad, Pop Pop.
It eventually evolves into Pawpaw. I don't even have to say anything. It just kind of happens. Right. Pop Pop's fun.
It is cute. Yeah, that's good.
Like you say Pop Pop, you're like, that's a fun granddad.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's he gets in there, and which isn't really true. I'm if you need anything, I'm here. I'll play the sports, do all that stuff. But if you really want to get into the playing, then that's probably my wife, who she's a abuela. She's abuela. So they call her Abby, though. They can't say abuela. They say Abby. Do you have one? I mean, it's early yet for you. You got a ways yet. But do you have something, when you're in that grandparent stage, what do you want to be called?
I'll probably be called Grammy.
Oh, I like Grammy.
Yeah, that's what I called
my got a Grammy in the family.
My mom is called Grammy. So
yeah.
But I have to run to get my kids. So do you have any other questions?
No. Real quick. Where can we find you on social media?
Oh, I'm at Angelique Cabral. Everything is just at Angelique Cabral. I'm real active on Instagram, and a little bit I'm getting into TikTok, but like
TikTok's a hard one. That's good.
I know, it's hard. It's hard.
Thank you for the time.
Okay, thank you so
Please
much.
Come back.
I will. This was really fun. I'll shout out to Brenda.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah.
Please do.
Okay. You were lovely. Thank you so much. You were lovely. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, as usual, I talk too much with that, and I really enjoyed that. Angelique, I think I said Angelique. You guys that have watched the podcast for a while know I struggle with names. I say them the way they look to me. Plus, I'm burdened with this West Virginia accent. Angelique that's much classier. I like that. And she was terrific. I'm such a fan of her as an actress. I think she is hysterical. She's good dramatically as well, but I love her in comedies. We hit on most of the things that I wanted to talk about, but let me run through this list of shows that she has been on, because it's kind of impressive. We talked about most of the big ones where she's in recurring roles, but she has been on Grey's Anatomy, Fresh Off the Boat. We talked about Transparent and The Odd Couple, Chicago PD, NCIS LA. She's on a couple of those. State of Affairs. I did want to ask her about that one, because I enjoyed that one. It was Katherine Heigl. Criminal Minds, Bad Judge, The Mentalist. We talked about Enlisted. Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, which I actually thought was a really good show, but just didn't make it. It may have lasted a year or two. What I remember about that show is James Van Der Beek played like a kind of a jerky version of himself and I love it when actors do that. It was hysterical. So that was really good. In addition to Devious Maid, she did The Glades. Loved her on Happy Ending. 2.5 Men we talked about. Mad Love, Melrose Place, which I think may have been the movie maybe they did after the show ended. I'm not sure. That's been for a while back, but Melrose Place. And then soap opera wise, she was on All My Children, One Life to Live, and Guiding Light. So she has done a lot of stuff. Also Dragons, The Nine Realms, which is an animated show maybe on Netflix. Not 100% on that one. She voices on that one as well. She is terrific. I'm so happy that we got to talk, and hopefully I didn't mess her up with picking the kids up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in with us again this time. I'm longtime watchers of the show know that I was recently diagnosed with Parkinson's, and it's been something that I've been adjusting to. Happy to report that the medicine is helping. So I was having a lot of trouble with this area of my face. It was, people with Parkinson's tend to get that masky look, and I think I was getting that. My face still doesn't, but it is just tight and it feels really funny through here. I don't know how to describe it exactly, but it just doesn't feel right through there. But it was affecting me. I started Lopa Dova a couple weeks ago, and it seems to be helping. I'm feeling more like myself. My father just had open heart surgery he got out of the hospital last week. He's doing great, but that has prevented me from testing out how well I can do at the gym. I'm a runner, but I haven't been able to run because my left leg was starting to drag with the Parkinson's. I think I'm going to be able to run. So I'm pretty excited, but I've been in a holding pattern while we've been taking care of Dad, but that's coming soon. So hopefully I'll start looking more like myself. I'm really looking forward to that. So a little bit of good news. If you're finding us for the first time, thank you for being here. There's a couple easy ways you can support us, and we'd really appreciate it if you would do that. Our YouTube channel is MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. It's free. Really helps us out. Allows us to kind of say, hey, these are the number of subscribers we have. We'd love to have you on the show. Helps us get these terrific guests. And I've said before, I would put our guest list up against any other show, talk show, podcast, anything. I think we have been so blessed. We're getting ready to put out episode 850. So we've been doing this for my son and I for 5.5 years. We're pretty prolific. We tend to put out about 4 episodes a week. I love talking with people, so I'm really bad about overbooking. So we try to get those out as quick as we can. Our website's meistercon.com. You can get all of those episodes, audio and video versions. So please check us out there. If we're doing anything in studio, if we're covering a convention, if we're going to walk on the picket lines, it'll be on the website, meistercon.com. So please check us out there as well. Thank you guys so much. Thank you to Angelique. She was absolutely terrific. Till next time. Bye, everybody.